In the heart of London's multicultural East End is a single-sex state school. The location of the school means that the intake of students is usually over 98% Bengali Muslim. Mulberry School for Girls is a non-faith school, but their outstanding GCSE results in RE and the running of the department have earned it beacon status. We are going to see how one teacher tackles some of the more complex ideas in Christian ethics at Key Stage 4 by using visually engaging techniques. These girls are in the second term of Year 11. They are approaching the end of the teaching module in Social Harmony for the edXL GCSE short course in RE. Anne Fater is a specialist RE teacher and shares the leadership of the RE department at Mulberry.
Now, I'm hoping that at the start of the lesson some students will be able to speculate and make some kind of comment about Christianity being a religion that will tolerate and respect other faiths. But I'm hoping that by the end of the lesson they'll be able to articulate these three key ideas very, very clearly and show an understanding of what informs those beliefs. And the key questions that are projected onto the whiteboard or onto the wall, and I'm going to take the register. In preparation for the lesson, I did give them a question to consider for homework, and the question was which, if any, of the world religions possess the truth. So I give you 10 more seconds. Okay, now we have been looking at the idea that Britain is a multicultural, multi-faith, multi-ethnic society, and we've been looking at the religious responses to racism, prejudice, discrimination. And we're now going to be going on to look at the implications of living in a multi-faith society. Anissa, what do we mean by multi-faith society, please? So students will have very little specific knowledge on the content of the lesson that I want them to learn today. Multi means? Lots of. So we're going to focus particularly today what that means for Christians. Now, can anyone take a guess? If I was to ask you these questions, okay? What do you think Christians think about other faiths? What do you think they make of, for example, Islam? Maureen, thank you.
To treat like all the other different religions like respectfully, like the way you treat your own.
Okay, so we would certainly agree that Christians would say that all religions should be treated respectfully. But is that the same as regarding all religions equal in terms of the truth that they possess?
No.
Okay, now, well, all people have different views of truth, don't they? Okay. So by the end of this lesson, I'm hoping that you're going to understand the Christian perspectives on what is truth and whether Christianity is a true religion. Okay, so that's your learning objective. But the other thing is that by the end of the lesson, I want you to have a series of diagrams and pictures that are going to be really useful for you to use as revision aids in the forthcoming exam. Okay, so you're going to do a task. First task is you can all see that you're on different tables and you all have a set of cards. All right, so pink, blue and green at the back. Your first activity is to read the definition that you have on your card. Each group has a different Christian perspective, okay? And there's a key concept on there. What I'm hoping is that students will be able to describe and explain very well three key Christian responses to other religions. And those Christian responses range from an exclusivist viewpoint, which holds that Christianity is the one and only true religion, to a pluralist viewpoint, which holds that all religion have access to the truth. I'm using a technique today that I enjoy very much, and it's a very interactive technique. It's also great for visual learners. As we know, students learn best, we all learn best in different ways, and some people use visual clues to learn. So this activity involves students converting some text into a diagram.
I know we could because this they believe that only Christianity has the whole truth.
Yeah, and
so
this is
what do we do
half it.
that?
No, just shade it in half, and that's some truth, and then shave all of this so that's the whole truth.
And then sharing their diagram with other people. So that consolidates their learning. But they won't be able to read from the text. They have to use their diagram in order to explain the key concept. Okay, ladies, you should by now be transferring the diagram that you've worked out into your exercise book. All right, you're going to need it because you're going to reform into a group and explain your diagram to the new group. Okay, so you should be transferring your information now. You have 5 minutes to do that. 5 minutes. So they're learning through drawing pictures and through the oral work that they do in explaining. And by the end of it, they have some pictures which are then excellent for revision aids for the forthcoming exam.
Anne Fater finds this kind of approach highly effective and inclusive. It is drawn from research into different learning styles and multiple intelligences that suggest using visual clues really can help students remember concepts.
Make sure you get that into your exercise book. I tend to use ideas that have been, if you like, taught to me from other teachers or through national initiatives. So, for example, this kind of group work activity where they start off in a group and then they reform is a very tried and tested generic sort of group activity which I first came across several years ago when I think I attended an inset on sort of oracy and using different techniques to promote oracy. Okay, right. Most of you have finished. I'll just give you 10 seconds to complete that, and then you're going to form into new groups. I'd like you to stand up, okay, with your coloured card and find yourself into a new threesome, and obviously within your threesome there must be one person with a different coloured card. Okay, this is what you're going to do. Each of you in turn is going to hold up their picture and going to explain the picture. So that means only one of you at a time is talking. Meanwhile, the rest of you in the group who are listening, you're going to be using the picture, you're going to be copying the picture from your peer and listening to their explanation. Okay, so by the end of the activity, you ought to have 3 pictures representing 3 different views.
All religions, Islam, Christianity and Judaism, have some truth in them and they're the right path to God.
Okay.
And another view is that there is many room for all religions in heaven. It means that Christianity, Judaism and Islam, all people can go to heaven. And that's narrated by John 14:2.
Our one is inclusivist view. The view is held by Roman Catholics. Christians believe that they have the right basically to convert another religion person into Christianity.
The activity really did encourage students to articulate and express the key ideas using their own words.
Who are you? Pluralist.
Yeah, the pluralist view. Basically, this is the belief that all religions are equal. So no matter what religion,
they'd already created their pictures, and actually as I was circulating around the different groups, as they were explaining to their peers each of their own pictures, you could hear them using keywords and you could hear their peers say, well, what do you mean by that? Can you just clarify that? Can you just explain that again?
The exclusivist view is when Christians believe that their religion is the only true religion, so that's why only they will go to heaven. that's called that view is held by the conservative evangelical Christians.
So I think that part of the lesson worked really well, and it's going to stick in the memory much more than if they just read a passage from a textbook and answered some comprehension questions on it. Ladies, I'm absolutely delighted that you're so enthusiastic that you're carrying on your explanations, but unfortunately we must draw to a close. Now, you all have 3 sets of pictures, okay? So I want to go back to the original questions that we set ourselves at the start of this activity. Okay. So, what answer might we give to this question? How do Christians view people of other religions or view other religious faiths? Thank you, Romana. That's excellent. They have different views. Now, remember, when you're answering an exam question, you will always get a higher level answer if you show recognition of diversity or difference between any one tradition. Okay, so the first thing that we can say is that Christians do not have one particular perspective. Within Christianity, there are different viewpoints. So can we add to that then? Rukshana.
Because the pluralists believe that all religions are equal and they hold some truth and they will all go to God. Whereas inclusivists believe that all religions have the truth, but Christianity has the whole truth. Whereas exclusivists believe that Christianity is the true religion.
Okay, thank you. All right, so if we go to the diagrams that you've beautifully created, now some of them have labels and some of them don't, okay? But I'd like to hazard a guess with this one on the far end, okay, is the pluralist view? Yes. Okay, I think the pluralist view is represented nicely here. You've got quite clearly a Muslim woman, yes, and a Christian with a cross sprouting out of her head, okay, and you've drawn paths going up a mountain.
They're basically they all like similar views basically, but they all like have different views on the religions, but they all end up on the same point, like God.
Right.
On top.
So all religions possess the truth, and they all get to the truth, but in different ways. Good. Generally, I felt the lesson went well in terms of timing, but this kind of activity is quite difficult sometimes to time, and the success of the lesson does depend very much on, I feel, a quality plenary at the end. But to really draw out their thinking and to really get them thinking about how those perspectives link to things like evangelism and conversion and so on, really needs that sort of discussion element at the end. And what you've shown therefore, which links to our last question, is that from an exclusivist point of view, okay, should we try and convert or change others? Okay, and you've drawn a globe here which presumably represents missionaries going around the world to convert, to change people into Christian. Do you all have a clear understanding of 3 different perspectives on the matter of Christian attitudes to other faiths? Give a thumbs up if you think you've understood it all.